Yo, alim baralo nyari. Inka al programo si akata bages ning kacawe dia la bak. Galta ala la sungula dia mundo kolear. Ora al programo si awai. So, guys, sungula dia mundo kolear. Yeah, Allahu Akbar. Guys, al programo si ya kata bake nganyeng 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 anong ngol ben join na. Let's look at what was said. Gambia problem ngol ben block no. Problem ba. Yeah. Sungula dia mundo ko. Bari Adam Barrow I have India mo fong kon la dia mo menke. Bari afong ma realize I menka afong la. Bari be menke la. Basen bari bungo e nyade. Aparetale minute lulu exactly 5 minutes aparetale mbala dia mo play la jane ala 5 minutes of nonsense because there was no sense in whatever he said. So be dia mo nyum play la jane after nga dia mo nying nga killing kotobo. Killing kotobo. So liba nga play nga la moy.
Of the forfeited asset tied to the
So nga la moy follow.
Fellow Gambians, recent revelations regarding the disposal of the forfeited asset tied to the former president Yahya Jammeh and his associates have generated national concern with reason. As President of the Republic, I am delivering this public address with sincerity and resolve to allay your fears and clear any misunderstanding on the sale of the assets in question. You may recall that the Joint Commission of Inquiry established under my administration concluded its work in March 2019.
So hani Adam Barrow fon la nyin kuma kan fon Joint Commission yela do ko nyimba March 2019 wa tra UDP la executives moti yeme yalonka bala zoo government kono moti yeme bala masakunda kutungo kono bagela woto fanam fon felata fon ya dase jeka.
Its findings form the basis of a government-wide paper published in September 2019.
So your white paper ni manka fo Joint Commission ning alhaklo ba kan white paper himalla fi ko white paper fon funtende himalla fi ka white paper fon funtende but white paper fon funtla wa do mena wa atara mole to UDP and most of the recommendations be keta ni joyi ngolo to but say problemo keta damento pagasul wa finta ayatara commission o nyembita kan
which I endorse to ensure transparency and accountability.
Yo alila moy jankuru ya membe jangani nafikia akamem fujang ni white paper me alon kaka endorse le Joint Commission recommendation ol ngamera what the same white paper recommendation ol molbe bala ngamera ay nyaka sim wolella ay mol men yalon ko tolbe wo Joint Commission ol kono o white paper nyambala men ye Gambia na flo beti nya ko Mamadou Sabali be nyamen ko Mamour Ndiaye wol be nyamen Alaji Cissé wol be nyamen ay nyaka si wala wo white paper nyambala man sonna luwani landile kan ay nyaka si simply because wol ba bala. But nafiki ya kumo mo jang hypocrisy mo jang ka foko mo ko aya endorse le andong ay wo execute le to the ladder memo hypocrisy. That is a pure hypocrisy because woman soto white paper me alon ka borna Joint Commission In the same Adam Barrow, Menkalo Jambia, Gaf Moliko, white paper yang I endorse le, and I make sure I execute, put transparency in Abekela Kuan Konanyameng. The same Adam Barrow le Anyakasi Modola, ye multa ye cherry pick one Yonkonomeni Alonko, ye they were found guilty. Jane commission na white paper yonkono, ay Anyakasi Modola, ide ya support le, ay to bondi fanko nyambala ite padin, walando di ma support, bano nye terekang. Ning ala baka 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒏 UDP waro menna 𝒂𝒂𝒏 because of Allah's Korea 𝒂𝒂𝒏 was banned for life, but ajibe kabringa tar NPP yobe bondakan. That is why he was able to occupy that position as presidential advisors. Ni nata Alagisisi jibe the protocol officer. Alagisisi was found wanting in that white paper, but Alagisisi fana yinyaka salale people like Mamburenjai. And a whole lot of people, Amadou Samba and the others, whole lot of people. Yenyakasi berale bi would be bad Adam Barrow barale because munageta white paper ying Jane commission recommendation was disregarded. Yenyakasa because ama concerned hypocrisy wole bi ya kaku kono. So akamem fu janko mongo white paper ying aya endorse, aya support and executed to the ladder was false. That is false. That is not true. Woman can tonyati. Gambia mbibi yele benga alone ne kujane commission or recommendation or men katege Adam Barrow ning ala masakunda ma will execute. That is false. But you see what we're talking about. You see what we're talking about. These people, Adam Barrow ning ala masakunda, they are not genuine to the Gambian people. They always lie to the Gambian people. How can the whole president, he cannot banter, to be misleading the public about sensitive matters like this without a shame at all.
In May 2019, acting on the Justice Ministry's recommendation, I authorized a ministerial task force to oversee the lawful and transparent disposal of the said assets. The task force has since been reporting regularly to Cabinet. So
Aliya Moile, Justice Ministry, Baton Mendu Benondamento, Akawola Fote, Wolelu, Wolliok Moment Fai, Wollaku Wanyenta. So literally, I Dakundamento la Ning Aliya Kalamda, Badamo Balun, we are wise than him, but Gambian people have decided, Molel Smart Adamati, Akanyaka Sindamento la Gambians, thank God, Gambians can pinpoint that point. Ministerial task force Ning. According Justice Ministry, wala recommendation okang ate Adam Barrow fango. Alila boy jande. Ate Adam Barrow fango. Ate fango le ministerial task force ni law. Adam Barrow fango le ministerial task force ni law. But ye hypocrisy jale. Aya nyaka sing a manson nakafu ministerial task force ni moja lebiye. And ngalon neko that ministerial task force comprises of only 3 people. Musa Drame, Batambendu and Amadou Ba. Ni ministerial task force akanye memfonante. And this is, in fact, this was when UDP be Batamasakunda because nimu 2019 net. This was 2019. UDP left the government in 2018. So Aliya Kalam Dalawala Sabu, Molmen Kafoko, all the coalition members, many along KBG, IBLF and Kataye, Aliye the hypocrites in chief, Adam Barrow Aliya Moila Memfo. A tax force ni law. Ye tax force ni law, Pruka Ning Bagasolo, Kelakual Ning Jibe. This was in May 2019. In May 2019, none of the UDP executive or a UDP member the Adam Barrow cabinet. This statement alone exonerates entire UDP. In 2019, I need ministerial task force law what women. There was no single soul me along kabe UDP executive folkono. Walanto UDP member mo amu minister di Adam Barrow mansakunda at that time. So but Aliye Barrow hypocrisy jala. And of course, being many folk and dole ning abediamula, he's not going to mention that ministerial task force. But already people here fonten la ko wo 3-member task force. I will law comprises of Batambedu, Amadou Ba, and how to call it? What is the another name? The former minister of local government and lands, Musa Drame. So nyinda malelwe sisla nyaji we kamfa we fala like 4 minutes some seconds. 4 minutes and some seconds of nonsense. I will again. So, but let's listen again.
Disclosures by the Ministry of Justice confirm, however, that certain transactions, which include the sale of livestock, tractors, vehicles, and other valuables, were conducted during the active proceedings of the Commission. Upon learning the details of those sales, some for the first time.
Some for the first time. Barrow neng aya lon nunga kana water for yagile Adam Barrow ntemalo mumusi falamati. Wala sabu maybe Adam Barrow bala they should help this man. This man, they should really help this man because this man, I don't think this man understand basics in life. Bi akakumado for lesama akumado for amakari membako ay kumomemfo kunung animbia kamemfo imankliya. I think Adam Barrow is he is the most informed person in the Gambia. And he is very proud. He is the most informed person in the Gambia. It be sitting in State House okono. It a ministerial fenko nyimelo tax force nyimelo ndi Mosabo Ali Babalu Amaduba. What is this name again? Drame. You know, aning Batambedu. It a ministerial tax force in your law. What tax force ning anung aku walka reporter can on a regular basis. Yin tax force ning ay yimelo. Yin tax force was reporting to Adam Barrow on a regular basis. Jane commissioner bagasol men biye. Afong da men for jang. Yin video yin kon. Example sabaledi motolu tarakitolu aning what was the other fix at the time of bara nyaka si fen jamala ngalong membe kering alangin dia mfudu ngono ngabe kalamta ayi nyaka si fen membe la ngabe long kunta yai boda mala jala yin video ya sindele ya besa fire read kunta wali yoda mal fen kaje pour nyen kamala ka kudol mabo they can attempt to mask all they like to nyanyi definitely ja musa drama yes so nyim musa bolu nyinu ka report adama on a regular basis commission onying the states of the properties ibenyameng motolu nin trakitolu nin fongol benyameng yet still adama ka foko kudol beje wolketa for the first time atebo moyola kabring Mustafa ye toro nin fe una jumale belala wala how can anybody believe that it fongo a tax force ni mello and diko tax force ni ka report on a regular basis on the states of those assets and the states of the commission. Ita kana ikafu moli ya komongo ite kudol bege yewol moy for the first time kabring Mustafa ya report on make. And the same person kafu nye komongo, he is the most informed person. He is the most informed Gambian. When it comes to the Gambian matters. Gambia dol albalo nal komongo mote nyato. Mote nyato. Tubabul kafu mege ko skaya crawl wala ben nyato juburlango wala ben na banko nyato. Juburlango wala ben na banko nyato. But let's listen again.
I convened an urgent cabinet meeting on Tuesday, 13 May 2025, to address the matter. My initial reaction would have been to establish an independent investigative panel to get to the bottom of every aspect of the sales. Within the arrangements of our constitutional framework, I have always prioritized acting in collaboration with the National Assembly. And
this time around, National Assembly, what I say, Flano, I can't remember anything. Abe propaganda, abe fake, abe senseless diamo. Kafu moli ko, ate ala kabring aying ko nyim moy kabring Mustafa ala toro nyim kabring Mustafa ala bomo nyim fetenta bomo nyim fengo fem fotaje nyunu Adama Barrow aya bela kalamta ngoy ko jalo singo belorim fota ngokan wala sabu sungo diamondo ko le abara sungo proka diamondi is very difficult. Imagine Barrow fundeta nang amam fem fono Gambia dingolie amam fem fono Gambia dingolie 4 minutes kanay ka diamolie fongo be yalon kabe kumaya rin kotek bari imagine amam fem fono because you mem fay wolo nyiti ko ni diamo bata iben wanyar la yalon ne nak wala sabu je 4 minutes sabro kay ko ni diamo da iben wanyar la le ni diam bata rek iben wanyar la but imagine han 4 minutes ko no imagine ay I home beso nyin 4 minutes on nyin kono. I home be funtin. So Adam Barrow literally akabem fojang is all nonsense. 4 minutes of nonsense I will for. But now being the most informed Gambian, kafon kamem for. Ikafundin Nigeria ikafumolieko, you even thinking about establishing another task force, Prukawolo, to investigate this. When you have the reports, you have the commission report, you have the papers, you have the list of people many years sang. Transactions. Ikafu moli ya kumungo ila initial reaction okera menti wala munyenti ko pruka investigative panel on lodi. Investigative panel me anko ni alo dia betal 3 years we will not have result. And even if a report comes out, nothing will come out of that result. Because we have seen Jane Commission ala white paper and in ala actual report ning nyameng. Look at people, many along they were found wanting in the commission and nothing happened to them up to today. And in fact, most of these people are very close to Adam Barrow, a protocol officer. Kasongo, wo ye Kasongo. Mamadou Sabali Wolu, you look at people like, you know, Mamburenjai and the others, Kongamo, it could be Yolake ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Mamburenjai of all people. Now Mamburenjai is being awarded an ambassadorial position in Saudi Arabia to go and be the Gambia la ambassador of Saudi Arabia. Well, as I'm going and people call me alonko in Adam Barrow fight up to this place. It's all for Balfa. Yes, Mrs. R. Exactly. TRRC for a recommendation of GB. Look at the recommendation of the TRRC. So again, you it's just propaganda. It's just nonsense. Kafoko. Ala initial reaction of Ketamenti, just as if he cares. As if he cares. As if he cares what happened. Because whatever happened on the sales of these properties, this man, Adam Barrow, he knows everything about it. He knows everything about it because he is part and parcel of it. Today, I told you today that we've had a very credible information call. There were 4 vehicles. Ya jambela moto lukono. Na Gambia la moto lukono. Adam Barrow ye mensika ayadia la morola. Moro menata visit in the State House in 2020, shortly before the presidential election. So he gave 4 vehicles from the properties of Yaya Jammeh to that Marabo. And some of the vehicles, we were told, were driven to Guinea-Bissau. Yes, somebody to your wife in Guinea-Bissau. Because they knew very well, come on, your wife in Gambia. It's going to be revealed someday. Someday it's going to be revealed. And that's what they did. But they never thought that there's going to be any whistleblower for this corrupt practice. Yemenke, when he was setting up that 3-man ministerial, how do you call it, task force, comprising of Musa Dramelamu, Amaduba, and Minister of Justice at the time. Kabiraba task force ni Lola. These were people a lot of mela. I don't know when you know Lana ko ifala itafala. Ima Amaduba bi hanni munakata diamla. Nalo dakala jango badalta damuela. Analo da jango me alongo ni mol diamuta ko be ni mol diamuta podikan nante. Anala yo da jango be akate diamla. Hansa ibenya be mari. Nobody knows what to say. Nobody knows what to say. Aramparola masakunda kono. Nobody knows what to say. Nobody knows what to say. Adam Barrow phone ara pruka banko address. Adam Barrow, the only thing that as a memfono Gambia Molie, well 4 minutes of nonsense. 4 minutes of everything that we've known. 4 minutes of everything. But I'm gonna follow right?
Office, both of which are already conducting inquiries into the matter. Their findings will be made public. And my government will enforce their recommendations to address the shortcomings discovered and hold accountable any individual or entity found culpable.
That is a nonsense. Tell me one thing, 𝒂𝒄𝒒𝒏, nothing will happen to 𝒂𝒄𝒒𝒏. When they gave Lamed Babylon, Walla reserve land, yadi 𝒂𝒄𝒒𝒏 la ploya ke reserve land. 𝒂𝒄𝒒𝒏 kabringa bebola UDP kata NPP. He was promised of something. Wala mnyenti komongo ila business line momenti. We will give you land and that's what they did to him. And you think something is going to happen to 𝒂𝒄𝒒𝒏? Absolutely nothing. If he really means it, This is an insult to the Gambian people. Today, Mambre Njai, I will appoint as an ambassador in Saudi Arabia. Mambre Njai was found wanting in Janneh Commission. So, Ibayilako Adam Barrow Kamembe Funya is all nonsense. Mamadou Sabali, today I will appoint as the presidential advisor. Akanyembe Funante is all nonsense. If he mean what he's saying today, he's not going to take that step. Proka Gambia company to insult us more, to add more salt on our injuries. Kamambure Njai Samba Saudi Arabia to go and represent the Gambia. Somebody who has no moral, somebody who has no blueprint, no good footprint. Kawasamba kara Gambia non yukuga Saudi Arabia. Akanyimbe Funanteng Alaji Sise ala protocol officer. May Alongo was found wanting of embezzling millions of dollars. That man wouldn't have been his protocol officer today. Akanyimbe Funanteng commissioner like the list, Memfuntinda, where Kandile clearly people many Alongo they did what they are not supposed to do. Those people should have been arrested by now. But you know what? All what he's saying here is just to sugarcoat and then, give false hope to the Gambian people. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen to these people until when Adama Barrow leaves power. Any government may along Kanata will be able to find out the entire truth, but nothing is going to happen. And they will do everything possible to distract the Gambian people from talking about this thing because they know very well that we are heading to election. If not that election of 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍, this man is not going to, address the nation. Let's be realistic to ourselves. If not, he's not going to bother to even address the nation. He's going to just do as usual, to forget about whatever Gambians are going to say. We will cry, we will shout until we cry blood. He's not going to care. He doesn't care. At the end of the day, you man care. This man do not care. This man do not care anything. He doesn't care anything. That is why he spent 4 minutes of, telling Gambian people nonsense. Nothing absolutely new, nothing serious. And I can be for you like, abe, like nothing is going to happen. Nothing absolutely. More many along with Fundalisto Bala. Wala sabong kavali komonko. Adama Barrow, he's going to be incriminating himself. Fujan ninga befala amakalam ta kumonga ba fong incriminate kande. Wala sabu businessmen di mo yes sambanang. You are using businessmen. Ke sambanang closer to yourself as the president. Eke fongodundi corruption all okono. Look at the businessmen. Many along ko tol funtita nyono kono. These are the people many along ka nibe blow deal nyola nibe benda jana be fala gambe no leko. Let's support them. But on the whole, what is happening? These are businessmen. Of course, they will protect their interests first. Chin interest long. They will protect their interests first. So nagideno loka fanyadile. You do me, I do you. Can you do me, I do you. So you know kala NPP men support. So nyana you know NPP men support financially be pick up all deal be phone call deal. You know fana benna banko kola koroting kan. Sisla. You know fana be banko ko koroti kan ne. You know ka kodol mendi adamala be NPP support la. Most of them be jela NPP la political phone call to appear that celebrity lifestyle because they think presidency is all about celebrity lifestyle kind. So you know fana ni fankara wala you deal food wala you lel kaf you lel fana ka volta mo kilo kya gele moto tan nani aya sang less than $1 million. Sidi ya chihuahua kunum beta kan tama wala ni wulu de dol benda ba muski awar ngu blok na bitala ngaje kai ye nyu chihuahua ta fanya chihuahua long kai sidi jai Nya kanya wala kan ngai chihuahua. So nyimbe nyameng sidi ya mafo anala sidi ya wala mtonyati nyenu modol nyul beje kay ma Muhammad Sabali ning abe banko dol to ko China ning ako midol from Middle East ako ba fala le because of corruption men ka dabla 1.5 billion something kono but nyun fana ning be banko dol kan ke be fala le. And until and unless Gambia as a country, a better governance Sodomea Lonko will put an end to this massive corruption. Billahi ni banko titala. Because number one problem Gambia Mensoto is na resources ka manage nyame. And thereby walka banko be bankola system be akabe crumble ayabe put into chronic poverty. The department would be at a standstill. No department is moved. No department is able to move to anywhere because the resources may along the department only support. You move, no. And most of development is a gradual process. You cannot just sit come and go, okay, so na Ministry of Digital Technology, but wole improve. So you expect to do that total or overhauled improvement at once. That cannot happen. You do one this year, then need arise as time goes on, as the society demands it, or as a need arise, upgrade development until you to a world-class, state. But look at these people, what they are doing to us. For instance, let's imagine Adam Barrow women from 2017 up to now. All our ministries, exactly that is how they are. The only ministry in my view, Minister of Interior, in terms of the way they issue ID cards and digitalization of digitalization. But even there is so pathetic because that is a ministry they cannot even produce our own documents. Our documents are being produced by other nations, even our ID card. Gambia ID card something which is as simple as the ID card is being produced by other nations for us. Our passport, we cannot even produce our own passport. But that is the nation these massive amounts of money from the corruption and nothing is happening because the president do not care. The president do not care as far as he is receiving his monthly salary of 500,000 plus the other incentives and his travel allowances, amounting to, let's say, 2 million Gambian dollars every month. He does not care because he is a money worshipper. Adama Barrow kakodole batung, as far as he doesn't care anything. Hell can come down to the Gambia and everybody suffer. Adama Barrow does not care. This is the reality. Niafo ye funding ye neng, niafo ye funding dolbe Quran ayol fole. But at the end of the day, look at the people men ka ul foye, men ka Quran ayol foye. Look at those people. Most of the times women from Kafuntika near Adamato, they come out and jump on you as if they're going to kill you. These are people many along they were born, when their same parents were depending on the Gambia on the same way Adama Barrow Benyaming. So it will not dunia thinking that that is the only way to live your life. And they also, got to emulate that. Well, as mo hadamadingo. Aninga kata nga jika kendol soto, especially in masa kundalu, be masa kundalu kono. Because akete nyawa model ki model as a role model. And more like a role model most of the times, they get, amused and then ika try ke copy on ike kameluke. Ike kameluke ka try ke copy wala. Baral nga nonsense wala diam labo ni lamoy.
Let me reassure every Gambian that the assets recovered belong to the people. My administration will not tolerate negligence or any wrongdoing linked to safeguarding our nation's resources. We are committed to full transparency in whatever we undertake on behalf of the people. And I pledge that lessons learned from this incident will be used to fortify our institutions and systems against future lapses.
Lessons learned will be used to fortify. Anybody forgot the vet? Mohammed, Allah forgot the vet. Lessons learned will be used to fortify. Sisla. So, but memo ko ni dimbading albe ni moy la nyin kamem fo lesson jumale lante jang ala administration o aka Gambia jumale full ko ala administration is going to do everything kaje ko monko no stone is left unturned aka jumale full wala who is Adama Barrow fooling. What happened? Kabringa Lamuso was involved in that 13 million scandal. What happened to Banka Keita? Something which is as serious as Banka Keita la case getting yame. a full container of sirafengo we do namo la banko ka fem mankije Adama Barrow ka jumale full GPA corruption women ketaje Minister of Fisheries corruption women ketaje and all these corrupt scandals many along ko beka fonten nang amaka kin no kodindidi akake millions and millions of foreign currency lati munaka kiji amaka singolo wol kang and then we moved on Gambia ding wol ka kumbo le kumbo fadole yellow bandi ya kumbo nothing happened. Who is he fooling? Akajumale fool. But Adama Barrow formula Gambia ding will divide on a corrupt basis in a very bad manner. So who is he fooling? Naga fuko mungala gam at atilamma sekunda te sonna kuka ke me alon ka manke amanyana kala ke tati Gambia. Akajumale fool. Corrupt practice jala ke Gambia ding will gurita wala muna ke wol mari wala many alon ke dabiye. The so-called commissioner coming for nante. Before Abitala, the Gambia la Kudotinyala on sitting allowances to the National Assembly members, why can't they just bring the records? Who did what based on the records, and then go from there? Why would it have to be that way that Ibe Gambia la resources new waste la for National Assembly sittings on this issue? If this were a UDP government, Mawa need Bruka work it because ni list over jele. We have a correct list me along kapijele. The 3-man ministerial tax force ning ay melondi ala Ali Baba Minister Sabola ay melta nang afango meluta Musa Drame ning Amadou Babe Damento nying mufulolo. Yen ngani molu tongo data bang ikaye diamu. So yalo sungo diamu ndo kole attack them because imang Adama Barrow be another ninjo ngotala masonga femfonje. Sungo diamu ndo is very hard. Yagele men kam mulla bungol kati Gambia kadu ga ni mutatumando se kale ala ko inata pra bay wala dol ba fali ko non nata wulu jibo wala nana mawulo je so nata ka wulo le jibe Adama Barrow fana kare wasi va dibi imagine la nata mun fondo Gambia wala abi muna fala because whatever happened was a complete nonsense and complete corrupt practice. So you cannot defend it. You cannot come and defend the undefendable. So Gambia, let's talk about it. And if I were the Gala youths, Gambia for Ninkebe Albe Kafunyokang and demand an explanation to why Adama Barrow will only have to come and address the nation for 4 minutes of nonsense without telling Gambian people any details as to what they wanted to know. Prior to today, more baby Siri baby button roller. Come on, go Adama will come and say things. I am more very disappointed even what's on Gambia because I saw what's on Gambia post that they put out question that Molingamira Adam Barrow Munafala, Abe opposition will blame la bank, Abe decision can do Talaba. I'm very disappointed. Because he only came just to, just pry up here and public drunk. Mumulia Foko Adama is concerned. But yalo na yung mansa si Fali Benyame. Mursain yang kalia mo la former president. Ya sorong kasoko no. Ya la fengo I kume beke andu ya gele wofone kume beke. Abe mu corruption oti. Bangola fengo la ka woleta everything. Ifele ya sorong kasoko no for 15 years. Abitala ka junior sindi kasoko no for 15 years. Balafati la kuolto because nibe masa kunda e kamera no for ifa wolle tam bankoti ko as if ye nyin palaso nyin ya inherit le. As if ye nyin palaso nyin ya inherit le. So wala sabu ni bota semboto watu menna alit nyarol suri la kuolto mo kakal balafeye. So ni menu be bala Ali Keku, but ngalon nako nothing is going to happen out of this. Ning ayatara nunko amanke kate fayol besuti aring. He's not going to care. He's not going to come out pruka diamo. As usual, he's just going to, aidasi ala sisi utone sisi dampong dom. Kamalo fasa eko kala budget okono sisi utone sisi dampong because 2017 kabra I will follow the man. Yeah, I will follow the man ala budget okono. Sisi singo niyo keje man sisi dampong keje wom cry moldi ha. Wamu cry moldi ika sisi singo ni order for ne sisi dampong order for ika ba ke ku sisi order. Ika ku sisi order. Wande ba. Wande. Ika ala doctor wa ko na kai Mr. President ke ku sisi order. Ni bedam pa mo kelera. Sisi bedam pa mo kelera. But lang ala so kung kaya sama na ba na ikachawa ganyan ko yung kachawa because lang ay information jama bala sa yung kuwato. You know, kuno niya naka-programo ke but make no. You know, so bari anda fo fura la jema fo la remela bake. Mbakatala nila yesi this nyin ko nyin sunyar ko nyin mo man yan naka nyin kai. Mo man yan naka nyin. Let's demand answers. Let's constantly demand answers from the Alibaba government. Alibaba and the 7, is it the 7 or 12 thieves? I don't remember. But whatever you must have done, Adam Barrow and then the three thieves. Adam Barrow and the 3 thieves. Probably that would be a good name for the commission. Well, the parliamentary inquiries into Adam Barrow and then the 3 thieves. Yes, because he told them along and they know everything what happened, everything what transpires. Adam Barrow from Gamon it's total nonsense. Total nonsense. Just Allah imaginal formula. Adam Barrow order who else is going to give that order pro sugu sinyare wo kenoni sort of that reserve land me along kaya wafing real estate agency ma. Who else is Jumale Muwati? Jumale was a boso member kala Jumale fo nyama ta member trail Adam Barrow be hadu mari nyame member kala. So Adam ka member for more than it's all just to come and whitewash everything. Just to come and cajole Gambians into believing in whatever nonsense he has to say within 4 minutes. That's all. Ninga mangoti, what else? Adama sabu molieko, mo meye moto tsikaya diala moral. According to what we heard, very reliable source. Okana molieko, I heard most of these things for the first time. Wose keno to nyati nyadi. Sungo manglaf kadiam. Ita sonna kadiam wala sabu mo be nyabe maring dol tara hay ban national dol betara hay ban national fu janding at least in the nearest future the foreseeable future will betara hay ban national kono fu janding yimbe fangala wato men amar bana la woda ba me alon ko hanni ala to fasina ay pudi kan na kamera ni ka fola adama ni to ko ala kamera ni ka adama la fo soika kanaka explanation no ni block no mun asabu ya adama to ali adama nyon kono la na la woda ba Mala ni sol samba mundore because he can't let ni sol be ramas almost 7,000 ni so nga mara sang jala 1 million for 1 million dollars laman 7,000 no ni molo nya nakadenne sidi jaye ba fu ni nakadenne you know no but shamefully you see most people are even defending it like I can say only few disgruntled desperate people are defending it. You see them on social media and this was supposed to be non-partisan issue. We're supposed to mount pressure on the government and hold them accountable for what they've done. Because this is going to continue. Well, as all the times I in court. Go all the times. Go immorality mu ladality. Selen dawalom. Daji kondaya mu selen dawalati. Daji kondaya selen dawalamu. Ninga nata. Ni na take tentenne. Ni mama stop ikatende selen dawala wanti fa fela kana wanti fa badu ngeta te badu nga wanti fa da wanti fa malam nakeda badu nga seni mbe approve kambare what happened and wanti fa last time yemenge boke bang a cancel bang iya sen ku kanamba a cancel bang completely wanti fa a cancel bang iya sen sa sen ku kanamba janne be diala wanti fa kana Alibaba and the 4 thieves. Adam Barrow from Molo Nyama. Adam Barrow and then the 3 thieves. Adam Barrow and the 3 thieves. You know, but it's all nonsense really. You know. You know. For 4 minutes kana banko benyat lengola. Kanon sense of one day for fonko sen nang kuka ba. Mela first one on. Let me see ngeji be jambang fonga seni. Okay, but nga seni yana. Saya try be join nang bangai saya ngata request seni yana. So di mela faka join is a request ni sana beta ale. Let's have an open discussion. Let's discuss this issue.
Kegendo.
Go Alibaba and the 3 thieves. Wole be kering. Adam Barrow and the 3 thieves. Yalo do mo Alibaba and the thieves.
Nda kukile nende bi ndara do ko le after be jigang. Njita ju mina kan be kondande nga fam here at least be speech ni mbata randela. Oro speech 5 minutes. Apare
4 minutes 40 seconds.
You see?
Bepare yalo to ko record lang
Pre-recorded no yalla tan de be ka editing kele editing nyin teda enden nyin jibe enden nyin ala conclusion remarks ida fenne fu je me alonko ama for coherently mispronounced le or aman sense make but it looks cut out. Yeah.
His government is going to do everything to 45.
Yeah, in definitely.
Saka wa 45 ako 45 malo munangkai ngalo.
Yeah, yeah, no, let me play the devil's advocate here.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you have? What do you have to say on this one, Defa?
Yalla mengirala ya fana scam.
Yeah, scam. Exactly.
Yeah, scam because what happened was the fact that he has to the fact that he mentioned some of the assets were sold during the commission. It looks like he has not been informed.
But do you remember that when Adam Barrow claimed that he is the most informed Gambian?
Adeka is all limited to Fenke MM5, Usman So MM5. But yes, I'm better. Look, you know what? Nilme is all wavi. They will have to be accounted for. Let me tell you something. Forget about the Gambia assets for a second. Gambia ni oxin bekela. There are companies many alongo, they have very bad reputation. Unfortunately, I have to mention some of them because Moli alongo ikagele. Ja Oil is one of them. Ja is a shame. Ja should not be proud of the fact that Kodomen be bulu ikara auction order like a modolu sang 70,000, 80,000, 100,000 trokolu and moto dajo. They have this culture. Bro, that country is a rotten country. Yo bang Gambia jele ni Gambia taranya doa. Gambia should be rich. Yeta jele B. Okay, example, let's say corda table, motor table. Okay, but at this age, the system is system change ko be ndari jele. I believe konna more corrupt, but we have a very, an incredibly good system. Me more honest, it works, bro. Corda table, imo fuarol. Masakuna eslo bon le banku tingo be kenosor la nyame ye fangofo ye saferoke ya onasane ye ke rangoto ni rango futatema ni esteto yele ye corda ci ka yadi. Moto fana fuarol nyanta moto sur la nyadile oxino ka kele mo ka moto natile porol to dolbi ya complicate katu je fo sango bang watu dozi ma jono den ma ake man satati ya onasan nyinka kele sango tonta sinya saba sinya nani dol kata fo ka ke fo bolon ko ma fa ja o el hani ata non ko wa ani ada ida mantende ina nyin company dol mu mebe hana no yaga basele ika molu ki jele menelan ko they buy tickets for them they disguise this is the same yeah you milking is imagine be Kibaro Fintela just before Barrow's speech. Because Murtani, the president, has been sent to the Court of Appeal upheld this conviction, sent to jail for like 15 years.
15 years
because of
after the appeal, and in fact, that is after the appeal week means before the appeal, the sentence was for more than 15 years.
Of course.
And so, whenever near wala accusation or GB, crimes or GB, it's almost the same as
reference. Screen companies. Yeah, understand. These guys companies. Create. So when you create these screen companies, it take an office. You have this what is it called? You have a company. Me go tell a tamu, but it got a family members all told.
Yeah.
So
but read from ala area damendo kumayata. Because the former head of state in power from 2008 to 2019 was found guilty of abuse of power, illicit enrichment, and money laundering, increasing the initial 5-year sentence imposed in December 2023. So the judicial decision marks a major milestone in one of the most high-profile trials in recent political history. According to the judicial source, the president allegedly set up a sophisticated system of embezzlement of public funds involving shell companies and offshore accounts, allowing him to amass a fortune estimated at tens of millions of dollars, notably through real estate and business transactions.
Yeah. So nyina mu ya jame nyulu be fengela nyari imaje yalam bi ngeda call no be yam kan fendol mbeta ngo menke kan I came across some of the ones from ya jame. One of the offshore accounts was in Greece. So they were also involved in one. So it can be so Barrow nobody knows. Yeah, maybe some will not agree, but he may come out much cleaner than Yaya Jama. But in generally, yeah.
So look at Farmer Barbaro 30 million. That was an offshore account.
Exactly.
That was a secret account also, but they all have these offshore accounts, especially now that Barrow sent his children to the United States. So that, alone it's something else.
And make predict like that. Maybe some people will think I'm crazy. It will be very unexpected. Somebody will be indicted. Because Barrow come for a movement be come a Barrow trajectory jibe. A come for a menu come bag. Akake ngal nete fonko ite kiwaro kono, you will hear one or two stories damande alongo moka kodo muda molbulu abuka fo Baroe ya understand akake du mala then Baroe na discover later and then Omar na anu talanyati. It's a similar thing with this commission. What nyule looting menke Baroe mambo, he was not in the loop. Wala na new system of this is beyond the government. This is beyond just the government and entity. It's the entire establishment, and that includes the business. Yeah, understand it? The business class. It'll you small keken do imira boy idea. Film baby ite bulita manta ite bukata sunya roka fena for 70,000 moto be option 70,000. System will allow no for all bije Gambia mul bije system ko no dinningol tanga dinningol na. They are under 40 years bro. Wole 20 years almost yake teaching nal. 20 years almost yake nursing nal. 20 years almost yake army. Bro, why can't we open that kind of opportunity? Katra ko dinningol me yalonko. Mol me yalonko they are under 40 and regardless of age. Yes, service for this amount of years. New oxygen siva sutango opportunity create wol fanale fansu motol soto. If fanale fansu cordal soto. Company member ko ja oil wobitano ko sa nyadi. Mohamed ja Hamid ja Abokar Jawara. What they are their involvements.
And you know what, wonderful. Somebody told me the most of the list you men will keep most of the fountain. Somebody told me that is a list of business partners.
Some of the business partners also.
So this will be interesting, huh?
Some of the business partners also. Disguise la use.
Yeah,
but
using some other people's name, a fake name for and these people accepted that fake name, a name that never existed, like Manga Keita.
Deliberately, they do it deliberately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy because many fananka name yinta. Ni moyo names by law, you will be required to ask one identity. But niaja will be a kickback, so they are all in the loop together. But if Barrow parade investigation or be the first thing that he should do, Sediba should not sleep like a free man today. Sediba should be arrested with immediate effect. Because Sediba are implicated directly. Come a moment be nota manicol ulo beka boda but menka most atapita da bela nakara suko. So Sediba is directly implicated and Sediba should not be spared. Sediba mutala with immediate effect because Sediba is incredibly bad. Imagine if a do findita. I see Jumala from Pamudu, I believe.
Yeah.
These guys took 300K for a car and entered like 75K in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And they reportedly a tractor wafi Omari for 50,000. That was only on record. Omari didn't receive a tractor. But Sediba should be arrested with immediate effect if they want to be serious.
Subhanallah. So I 225 for Bemuraju.
This man was the vehicle control officer, State House.
Subhanallah. But moro yana fa ko ka tanto lanyi banko kana moro.
This thing is way serious, way serious. Come Nico has so-called technically allegation all. But allegation boy, you know comment boy. Nimba left a mole lala, Mason Kalamasta so badly. Yes, Sediba muta be, Sediba canela like a free man. Let him arrest, let him begin with Sediba. Yeah, understand it? Yeah, charge outright. Because now based on the Ministry of Justice website, you know, if I for almost 1,000 page document yeah, about just for the Janet Commission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all of
special,
so, but
a special
you know what is going to happen now? Wonderful. Bika damen fonye, bika me explaining and wo manika tonye. It's okay no Ministry of Justice la website to remove some pages from the system, you know.
Exactly.
It's okay no but yeah on records.
No more be down the hand will be
very good. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do.
Always
make sure
related to Jana Commission abe wenda bulla.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. Kung amen ka dyan, do manong di ba jala ni futita na ko ba fani afo la kamol fake ata ito ya man no evidence all to let them nga kami kan nabam. Barang alun no sa tom.
Yes, Tom.
Tom winimbala Tom mi ko nyadi ye fangola mo lang kaya concert lang mo.
Yeah, ngala mwele wanifa konto wanifa.
Ngo jumala jonda keke ndo mama la name jeno.
Tom lom Omar.
And
Omar Fati.
Yeah.
Omar Fati.
Tali wala wala. Okay, go ahead.
Je. Iko di.
Yaro okay rola.
Ale gunangol.
To wanifa de akona talo mo manyolo mi tel de wala na muga fanke ba.
Saya ne bo wanifa ko understand kan okay.
So, but Tom akonyin to bi ntene na mambala fa baro e fo bi.
Je Tom bala fa dai.
Billah wallahi.
No barke ke mo fana ma fo ya kala la yenene la. Ya kala.
Yeah, nada man bala fa baro e ala ko kan dimi everyday bar bi mbala fa dai ba. Yeah, mbala fa dai because ngala moy anata diam man nga kon fana na ngala moy nga bere la moy almost. But mbala fa dai ba. Anyanta men kala han sa kuma dang. Uncle Keba Sabal Katwa Wato Wat Muru Gambianul Kai apologize. Mole called that I cannot refugee outside. And if I send couple always, Lamin Konada couple always, Molka to Diamulanye, Barhan San in the Mulmuela. Adalata Jemoven Plela, Koteke, Ani Mina Bula Nena, what a febola. So Nima Gambia Marco always until Katu Fola na President La, the Kataka refugee. So I think nyanda menkela still nyinse manage nole ate meye fewnu sang fewu fembabe nyin kono baro fawne yesande baro fawne fewnu sande yeah baro fawne fewnu jama sang e kanyin tol mel beki je jallo albe nyin nyini na banko kan fomo be dangu alkiyama mota nyin so for what reason baro akamune greedy mun haduna sifalo nyindi Tom ye bunglo nyaaw bung se wara nyaaw nyim bung be buke lano akon
wallahi
bung kono se wara nyaaw nye buke lano bung kono be ko ila laron se wara nyaaw nye buke lano ni laron be ka bar population o men ite be lead kan konko le bu wala min dole bu wala wol be kuranta yala kono le pano to molle be fakanje jio men kaloy balo bala chuwo men katara wala e ka sanne la kodola Kanyil mel for the last week lang dol witness dol biji wo molu ñil fatal ba ñun lepta ko la ñanda gala do ate barof honi wol dol fama ñul mu ku flam kun salle bu wolto ma ñanda kala ñin suñar bal be keta ñin banko ka moto tawmbeng Mr. Suso ba fo kan ngolon wo motol ani ton mel be kono wol tada mun tol
ko wol mu kuta malleti hani kay to mo bay
wol mu kuta malleti Gimbel mel be kono e bebe farin fewn lela men be wol kono why mol nat na yafo mole kene bado so akala transparency anala do kuno ale bari tom nyimbe nyimu wala daldin tol be ndol fondingel be me adna en joinda wala da felendin momo ndin senyinta baro bi ne baroje baro men ka fawara ka fan diamu di kafatiya faka jara bi wala ka diama ba sunyare kitiyo man futama folo ba nim baro e mira abetiata mol kamem fo baroma mol meli lota baro e ka baro ma koy ay na e lo nim palaso ka ma koy ay sembo so do banko kan bi sidin jay ka findi député bun kono sidin jay ka wala challenge ala député dol ba fala mol malon fontol mu ko mel ka findi wol mu ko ñol def su lol lomba still baro nya bola ate kana finti ko dege akanyim bala fa ko mo fa mango député la e commanda fo al nga kol samba telewunin tonya kan nga banko dimla tawnu sayma tonya e bang akana mo tumi
wallahi
kana mo tumi ro mam bete kana mo tumi mol mam ma menne kana fo ko karle mata ni na batame dum criminality batame par al nga fural ala bandula batame dum grawta Gambia la judiciaire gal beti But coming, Muslima ala silul kan mo kana mo ngayde. Kudo bije ni yam fatama yam famari mal kiyama ala stal kondi won. Bar bata medu birinti aje ya appoint ka ke justice minister di. Ndako Gambia no fele problem o felenti because banko nyin kan bata medu e tapale amenke molula. It's too much.
Okay.
Bata medu. Bata medu nyong criminal o te keri. Adun na ende soso. Ndak kaytol le fintin la dunia kono moliyeji ay mol mel la na flo tapale. So bin Gambiano dol koy ko la salbiret ko joji kendolo ay do ku kendolo ge ba temedu grawta la baro blo non la ba blo sitla ab banko mi da ba padla nyaada la be to ko ya be la bi mo be baro sen
nyara dambaro be jino janale ye so baka sol jama bi ye mem fo wala sabu ñu ye bang ye bang listo funde kabri wati mo ko listo funde listo mo funde bara be lonna ñing akete ñawre ni ñam hanning alla fita hala baka so dol be je ay wol do to sam salimata la bari abelon na wala salimata ti
ya
tom
anin jallo ko ndankol jallo
wadi fay tom moy
wadi fa blaya wadi fa
wadi fay tom moy
wadi fa welcome diam diamo ka diam ba
ya yala mo dole as use wala nan koy ko min baro la fra mo le ye seri ba mutabi Sediba even used family members to buy, and those names were not disguised; those were real names.
Okay, and most of those names were not captured on the list.
No, they were captured.
They were captured. Okay.
Commission
they were able to associate Jumala Mutuala family, close relatives. Funny commission but they should be able to
come back. Molia come, you know, they figured after this protest, Molia figured out, yes, Sediba's family members were on the list.
Okay.
So,
okay.
If Barrow wants to be serious, the first thing, the beginning point, is to arrest Sediba with immediate effect.
It's always a bad idea. A businessman on who knows what favor
Sediba should be, I think Sediba should be a police officer or something. Sediba was not a businessman. Sediba was state house like vehicle control officer. I remember a business lad. So but yeah, now about beginning to Damadama Sediba is the beginning point. Niba that like mom go and arrest Sediba, Nila Titan like Gambian Lako. We are serious about it because Sediba, I don't think with the what comment ethically from a woman baker, you know, anything, any implication of the vehicle control officer is just unethical and what am I prosecution. So you can press charges right away. New commission investigation or banda, you could not further, then you can even add the charges.
Yeah, but one if I have a feeling that Adamo Barrow is not going to do the right thing, you know, because Adamo Barrow is not somebody may alongo, he will ever do anything may alongo and it's or something just. Ning Adamo Barrow si just that today, but Mambo Jama Yanakara Saudi Arabia. Momodu Sabali may alongo commissioner in like this and the orders. Some model Basiria will ban for life, like I said yesterday and the orders, but yet model be given for financial crime in Sierra will he will free. And the others simply because in Harif. So I believe in Sediba, Hansamalam Naya, loyalty in the Adambo and then play psychopath. He's going to be accepted.
But Adama Barrow e mol nene dame. Yala ñu commission fon la joke fiti da dame. Ñu ndo ko mo gëna scandal di dro. Gana but joke fon fiti da dame wala Barrow ko mole ko out of how many recommendations lem. Ngamera only one or two amole government mole accept. So the rest they accept the commission recommend. But couldn't find no ature ya accept le ko adunta ko me wala atina iba bandale ani Mamadou Sabal.
Yeah.
Ya understand. No ature bounce back as secretary to cabinet. Adam Barrow he used the law illegally.
Yeah.
Mamadou Sabal pardon.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm glad Keksane or Kosama Kidiolale. I hope he wins the case. Because he does constitutional he does not have the right to do that. So the matter is before the Gambian courts. So I hope they're gonna make a decision in the coming month.
Court.
Keksia sama kid.
mau kalam da moro.
Yeah. No, because constitutional language may use J. You cannot interpret it in any way. Kafoko Adama Barrow Semboso commissioner recommendation or kamo ban ka police or anything. Prior pardon keola constitutional ma Sembodial. So Bra okay after Kexi Asamba Kidiola ko Nimanke Kurimeango President Semboso ka pardon.
Ninga ta accept already for adopter.
Yes. So yalong these are complex matters because near more kid or punishment some one way or the other nyanta savlal ya honest but come more ko la ya for no punishment amam betia han international justice ikafole ko no blanket amnesty no blanket amnesty amam betia ibuka mo a group of people buka crime or commit wrong you give a blanket amnesty buka you have to allocate responsibility mo dol nyanta punishment of biala buka ke no wanyama. So, Jano Commission, Mohamed Basi, we all know the Sulaning, is back in business. A government tag boy.
Yeah.
You don't know my blood is I they vex. A government contract moment ya outline, yeah, understand. And this guy said, Kurang, I had an interview with Kurang, and Kurang went on several media outlets, mainstream media, idea monkey. He talked several times about the 1.5 million. Sabal diam ranya manjema because you know what? Aliu stise
sabal mu dankato la di
na kono ke aliu ya nyin nga jelale ya ona sane QTV
jumala ngi nga jela
aliu stise QTV.
Yeah, so what did he say? Sabal yam nafo
I bet you could say kono la ko come still he was pointing fingers to Kuranko is a way conflict of interest la wanyanta dabula nyin protest soldier and all that. So Kuranko bearing testimony menkeda ate ta fonola because out of secrecy aluna hofna is is a prosecutable crime ya understand ako bar sabali ya for commission tambida let him say that was the challenge from Kuran. If you are going to accept the challenge, just come out and tell us what happened there. And now that all these things are going on, you should just come out public. Yeah, for Moleko, the 1.5 million US dollars that I withdrew. Yeah, understand. This is what I did with it. Commission tambida you have already so I'm meaning not because of current Flangonyan, but because Barrow be used, commissioner be used as a pretext. Kamamadu Sabali muda kakanyadi ka ban without telling the public. Actually, Mamad Sabali meneke because you for mole. Narungo a very important and maybe in transactional members sell that 1.5 million dollars. One kodi jamal. One of arguably the biggest transaction I menke. In camera and make it out on Telmola, but you just come out to say go. Ban for life. These are not spiteful people. Wait, Surahara Jana is a good man. I believe.
I was told he's a very principled man. He's a very credible person.
Of all the people, man, he has no bias against Sabali whatsoever. I don't believe that. Naja Buffalo is Sabali banding. Yeah, understand about recommendation of Pasla. It's because Sabali was into some dubious stuff.
No, wala sa kabring yang ginagawa wala ko commission o alimbala nadamay da bungko no ngawro anzali
andung timeline
wala kakadia mo muli ang morality ta wala sa kuno na benyola ay ko di mo diam la morality la sabal should just shut up his mouth ari mo dandi morality ni wo fala Gambia. Of course, mistake, okay. Nobody is perfect. Mistake, you can always learn from your mistakes. But that's not Sabali. Imagine Adam Barrow apologized. The other day he went and then he licked a Bokar Jawala Samotuhaka Woneng, Faka Kulmo. He apologized to the Mandingas. He apologized to Jamaica. He is going to continue apologizing because of his own foolishness.
And Bokar Jawara. So Sabala ko Balafal. And I don't really hate the guy. If anything, I like him. But I cook Balafal because Yalang Hadamano Flora Prova, Naflaka Mambeda, Tamamfo, Froda Malako Manka Balafal, Sabal Muet. Amanka Froda Malam Balafal, Budamalakum Balafal, Sabalakum Balafal. Because, I think his life would have been much better if he did not flip on UDP. I don't know things would have been okay. I could all make literally more startle from forgive. You understand? In fact, dol ne mole nyo sabala al nga forgive ma forgive ni be yamfu la yamfu tama yamfu dol babla al nga yamfu. So the public was leaning more towards al nga yamfam even outside of UDP, not just UDP. He had a lot of people many along go neutral so the boys will don't go because Yalan Janaka University in Bengal, he was in the youth activity. So always I have connection also on that. His connection with the youths have always been there. But come
same for Nige Jama Balabudala Quarter because personally I know of almost 10 or more many along bakan nung kabra yung Korea ke would be ala Korea because yalong I jiko Korea me kaya jamala temo and I cool me big would didn't jama be during that time would man would follow you know they were young at that time.
No men recently in days will dia moment against the protest didn't all come for afong la didn't all. Again though, let's look at it from this perspective here. NPP is already crucifying him ko ala dinding olo na min dinding memento wala bening problema be create.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what dinding olo alba fenyula ka fo komengo hey sabali ite kon dal manyan to protest and all these people have legitimate complaints against him. So the guy need to do some deep soul searching. I see aje ko kuma ba ken sem fo wote duniyati. I have to reflect. But let's go back to the assets. Jumalle mo la nizo wafi da jellala. Hey, keke non ko men kita hani bi nyum ko be tubaw kan ni nyum futa Gambia no le ko me aka fota mo be maninga kanto Gambia be am mo abita fota be surwa kanto Gambia be am afota mo be fula kanto ko mamadi kuranta ta la taraki ta tanani anin saba ay wole wafi a million tang ay wole soroje akayto fel larinde atata la ke Central Bank 10.5 million anin tala atata wole Central Bank anu receipt fel indole trakita keme trakita talulu anin trakita nani ye wala wafi o trakita kono ye ya be wafi ikoye okay ikoye dalasi million tang anin saba ye wala soroje me trakita tan nani anin saba wafi we million tan soro anin million tala nyindo me yalon kay trakita keme trakita talulu ni nani wafi we million tan anin saba soro fa nakarobe je. This is a simplified version of it. This is why they don't like Quran.
So akamunta then big means one if ani yung fanka yun letra kito wafin maybe 5,000.
Ita trakidol wafi 100 lela bari kaga nyame. Ni ba wala 100 la ka tare face ro duma so but membe kala on paper o kala 100 let.
Como uyendo aga nyame like you know. Yeah, wafi more 400 like let's say 400,000 but 100 level kala fanko wala yeah fa ko trakidol normally let's say 1 million nobody level or 500,000. But say be
you come yalan ke no ndefe mengira nyula. Yes, the first time they became like oblivious. To our coming for oblivious, they become negligent or careless about danger.
Paranoid.
Because how can you go and receive 300,000 if I enter at one place for 300,000 at another place yeah enter for 75? Yeah, understand? So we made an wula ko be sunyaro la it an comfortable takono. Gambeno la dua barak danko e muta. If only this one they put it on ink themselves.
So
one page another page.
Whatever kuyin beke kan wani fa arudi whatever be dai banda do man ngi whatever kuyin be diaring you know yesu ku pana de whatever le kay ko kenol be yana la so la business o ni join tambe la business la ko fana basa bara
ko kanya beginning screen company lam sukula company.
Moro bari saya ngalong be kaca dan dajan ndela ya wanda kana si jan sudo ngabra mbala dajan de sama wala sen dol ci bal nga ñentenden kaca dia bara la bari ñi ngay mbala dajan nga mbala dajan fa lu ngode
no ebe kulina ya karale no so nyinga nga ko nyama fo sama inshallah ni ala ya
no yes be waso la baraka mbake no kaca be diar mbake la flight den jala baraka wage bari
okay
so ku tan la jamma fo la telenkilin na kana sin de la ma fo la sudo you know so be program dan ne jane to ngalla but alan kana nyina nyin ko nyina let's talk about it sungula susunyaro let's talk about it mo kana ko nyimbula yele na banko tinyale andi be banko nyin tinyale ningi bula di masi bo be malale you know yes hala baraka wake o ama sudo diala